Okay, take a listen to this.
Tap, 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 wrist on glitter, waist on waist on waist on waist on waist on pockets on jigger. You better get the card and make it swipe like Tinder. Private villa in the fart shit chiller. When he posts me, all the get sicker. For a killer, I don't need fillers. Never been a lame, so the real chicks feel it. Daddy on the FaceTime, you can never take mine. End up on a dateline, rich with no day job. Hit your wop wop, always on the course side, Billionaire boys wanna eat me out. I'm from the West Coast, they wanna go down south. All these lame.
So as you can hear, Serato 3.0 is here, and bringing with it is the brand new Stems feature. So I wanted to start this video by just showing you what this sounds like, because in all honesty, when Serato came to this studio to share this with us, we were blown away. This is by far the best we've heard of this kind of technology to date, especially on the fly. There are loads of services out there which can break apart the stems of music and pull out the a cappella or the instrumental, but you have to load them into the service, wait for it to translate it, and then you can extract it from that service. We also have Virtual DJ and Algorithm, where stems have been in their software for quite a while now, but Serato have held back, and they've held back because they've built their own code, their own system, their own version of this Stems software. It's not built off the back of anyone else. So they've taken their time with it and they've tried to implement it well, and by well, I mean they've done it really well so far, and this is just the start, because at launch, this is actually just a public beta, so it's actually probably going to improve and get better before the official launch still yet. A few things you need to know before we get started is that this Stems Serato 3.0 upgrade is totally free. And not only does it come to Serato DJ Pro, they've brought it to Serato DJ Lite as well. So if you've just got your first DJ controller, you're still going to be able to make use of this awesome feature. In the software, if we just head to the gear icon, we can now see in DJ preferences that there's this replace pad mode with stems. If you tick this, you can choose a pad mode to replace with. I've been told that this list might get updated or it might change depending on what equipment you have plugged in, but as you can see here with this Rev 1, I can change the loop roll, which is my shift auto loop, which is the roll feature, or I could replace the sampler. I've decided to choose the loop roll. Then it's as simple as we can go to that mode, and then we have these 4 pads at the top, which is our toggling on and off of each of the separate stems available to us. You'll also notice new on the screen, we have this underneath the hot cue mode. We've now got the stems mode with this new icon, and we can see a visual representation of what these pads correlate to. You can also see, if I just scroll back up in my library view here, we have a new stems folder. Now what this means is we can drag and drop any of our local stored music into there, and it will analyze the stems prior to loading it into the track, and it will store those stems in there so that every time you load the track, it doesn't have to analyze the stems each time. So it stores that locally on your computer, but then you can remove that by deleting them out of that folder as well. Now, depending on the power of your laptop, there might be a little bit of load time. So for example, a brand new Apple M1 or M2 machine will analyze the stems in real time. As you load it in, you can play the song, and then within a second, maybe 2 at max, it's analyzed the stems and you can isolate different parts of the song. With older machines, this time just gets longer. So mine isn't an M1 or M2, but it takes maybe about 5 seconds to load because it's a bit of an older machine. So it's just something to bear in mind that it is obviously, as technology is progressing, it takes a lot of power and juice to be able to do something like this in real time. Next thing, let's just show you how it works on the actual controller. So we can have a song playing, and then these top 4 pads, we can just isolate different parts. So we can turn the vocal off, and we've just got the melody, the bass and the drums. We can turn the melody off. There's not much melody in this song, so I'll show another example in a minute. We can take the bass out, and then obviously the drums. I could put the bass back in. This is what we're really amazed by, is how they're able to isolate the bass so cleanly away from the drums. Anyone that produces music will know how tricky that is.
Eat me out, from the West
vocal.
Coast, they wanna go down south. All these lame little rappers tryna fuck clap. I won't let him play, but he can put it in his mouth. Low bass, fat, baby.
And then if I put them all back on,
Tap, tap, tap in.
underneath we have some quick fire effects to get rid of certain elements. So we can just
Tap,
echo
tap
out the
in.
vocals.
Getting money, get rich, baby. Tap, baby, tap, baby, tap, baby. Gang,
We
baby,
could echo out the
tap in.
instrumental.
Yeah. Tap, tap, tap. You got it, itty bitty waist. Pretty in the face. Never let up broke.
We can
Take
break
it
out
on
the
tape. This
instrumental.
can't relate. I've never been fake. I got a big baller putting icing on my plate. Icy from my lips and my fingers to my toe.
And we can echo out the drums.
This ain't going on sale. All these birds, busy baby. I do not do friends well. A lot of haters, but I promise that I won't tell.
So as you can hear, it's really powerful, and honestly, we have had so much fun in the studio with it. The first thing as well that I'm going to bring up is that now that we have stems available on quite a few different softwares, and then Serato bringing it, which obviously Serato have a huge clientele already of users who are out working in venues and clubs and around the world and using their software, it's going to bring a whole new element of DJing to those already working DJs. One thing I found from using it is that I'm actually touching the EQs less and less. I'm almost not touching the EQs anymore, and I'm just layering different parts of the songs together when I'm mixing. So it might even start a whole new wave of mixing whereby we don't actually need EQs because we're just using different elements of different songs and layering them over. And honestly, I can say it sounds so clean. Next, let's have a listen. All I'm going to do is just pick out some songs, play them for you, and isolate different parts just so you can hear, you know, the quality of this, where it's at right now in this beta phase. So I've got a Bad Bunny track on this side. Let's echo the vocal. So good. Let's echo the instrumental. Now let's just add the drums and the vocal. So straight away you've got the opportunity to layer the bass line of another song in there. Let's put the melody in. Let's take the vocal out. Let's swap the melody for the bass. There's not much bass yet, it's coming in now. And as you can see on the waveform, it represents, you know, what's in the song and what's not by the grayed out sections on the waveform. Even that sub, to be able to pull that sub out, you might not be able to hear it on the video. If you've got headphones plugged in, it's pulled the sub out away from the drums, which is amazing. Let's load another song in. Here I've got one of my favorite garage classic tunes here. Let's skip to where there's vocal. And there's some horns and trumpets. So let's try and isolate those horns. As you can see here, it's just analysing the song. Now, it's done it. So it's doing a decent job of getting those horns out. Let's add the vocal back in. Skip to a vocal section. Without the bass. Bass and no melody. So tight. Just the instrumental. So good. Let's do one more example. Again, a different genre just to show you.
Ladies, leave your head at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. I know your fellas leave your girl with her friends.
Wait for it to drop in, and then I'll just echo different parts out. There's the vocal. I need some vocal. There we go.
Ladies, leave your head at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. I know your fellas leave your girl with her friends. Cause it's 11:30 and the club is jumping. Ladies, leave your head at home. The club is full of ballers and their ballers and their ballers and their ballers.
Let's see if we can pick out those parts in the drop. So you can see that my waveform's just taking a second to refresh. Take the bass out. Straight away you can hear how much difference that makes. So this sounds now like the outro of a song because I've taken the bass out, but I'm halfway through it. So you can start to understand where the mixing opportunities come in with this new feature. So just to recap, this is the main update that's coming to Serato 3.0. It's in beta phase, so you can go and download the public beta now. So obviously this means that you can test it and give feedback, but don't use it in a live environment yet. There will be an official release coming soon. And honestly, it is so much fun to play with. And I'm so excited that it's been brought to all the Serato controllers. Just remember as well, it's also been added to Serato DJ Lite. So if you just bought your first controller, you can still make use of this feature, which is incredible. Props to Serato. We're going to have lots of fun with it, and we can't wait to hear what you think about it in the comments below. Let us know, and please remember to subscribe. I'll see you in another video very soon.